Good evening. You're listening to KOOP Radio KVRX HD3 Austin, streaming at koop.org. It's a radio for people, not for profit. And again, this is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. And I'm Mike Wheat. And each week we like to get behind the stacks, get to know the people and programs that make the library a hub of learning, technology, and inspiration for our community. Again, thanks to the kind folks of Writing on the Air, as they always tell their listeners to stick around for us. Appreciate that. And as I mentioned, today we're talking to two Pleasant Hill branch staff members. We have Briana, Garza, and Jana White. And they're here to talk about a program they've put together called Measure Your Treasure. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's introduce ourselves. Let's go around clockwise or whatever. Who's first?
Okay. My name is Jana. From New York originally.
Welcome.
Thanks. I've been working in libraries since 1993 when I was a senior in high school. Started out as a page.
In New York?
Uh-huh.
So when you say New York, is this New York City?
Long Island.
Long Island.
Yes. Started out as a page. I never wanted to work anywhere else besides a library. I think every book in my house has a unicorn stamp on it. When I was a little kid, I would stamp all the books in the house because I was pretending I was working in a library.
Oh, that's hilarious.
My poor parents.
That wasn't your page marker? That was just
you
checking them out to yourself?
Exactly. I was checking them out to my teddy bears and stuff. So when it was time to get a job, I didn't want to work anywhere else but the library. And
so let me ask you, back in that time, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
But you're saying back in the 90s when you were a kid and you wanted to be a librarian, you used to have that horrible image of librarians as being the mean shushers and all that. Is that the kind you wanted to be?
No. I went to a library in Kings Park.
Yeah.
Shout out to Smithtown Library.
Hello, guys.
Our children's librarian was very nice and always let us talk. It was not so
part
shushy.
Of the new progressive edge. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So got a job in high school and have not looked back since.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you started with libraries in New York. How did you end up in Texas?
It was just very expensive on Long Island.
Yeah.
And came down here, had some friends down here, got a job at the library here. It's been awesome.
Nice. What year was that you moved here?
2006.
Okay. It's been a good while.
Yeah.
So you've been with APL about 10 years?
Yes, sir.
Going on to your 11th?
Yes, sir.
All right. Briana, you're quiet over there. How are you? Welcome.
Hello. It's good to be here. Thank you. I am Briana, and I'm from West Columbia, Texas, which is about an hour south of Houston, home of the mighty Roughnecks. And I came to UT in 2006, and when I was there, I worked as a student worker in the Perry Castaneda Library. It was in the interlibrary loan department, and I really loved it because I got to go to all of the different libraries on campus and grab books and articles and bring them back to the main library so that they could be sent out.
Wow, you were one person would source all of that out for the requests?
There were a few different student workers who would do that a day, but yeah, you would usually get sent to one or two branches a day. And my favorite was the Fine Arts Library on campus. So I would go and open a book that I was supposed to be pulling for a customer and then start reading it and then be like,
3 hours later.
I'm supposed to be working. But yeah, I really loved working in the library. When I graduated from school, I taught for a few years. I taught pre-K, kindergarten, but I really just missed the library. So I applied for APL and got a temp job, and the rest is history.
So you were a pre-K teacher, you said? Or?
I was, yeah, pre-K for a year, and then I taught kindergarten for a couple of years.
Had you thought about, especially now that you've been with the library for a while now and you love it, continuing to get children's librarian?
I have kind of thought about it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I have kind of thought about it. I think that I would really enjoy that, being in a school, being a children's librarian.
They seem to have so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
They really do.
Yeah, I think I would be good at planning programs for them and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So Jana, moving from New York to Texas.
Yes.
You were how old at that time then? You were probably in your 20s?
I was 30.
30.
Yes.
Were you married?
No.
Were you with anybody?
No.
No boys involved in the
No.
move? Good for you.
Thanks.
Just a single lady making moves in life.
All the single ladies. Yes.
All the single ladies moved to Austin.
Yes, exactly.
So how did you adjust to the heat?
I haven't. I figure like any day now, maybe.
Yeah. One day it'll happen.
Yes. I miss like spring and fall.
Although New York is not exactly cool in the summer.
No.
It's horrible. I had no idea the first time I went.
Yes, but yes, it does get hot, but does not get hot like here.
No, it's a different
We don't
hot.
have like days of 100 degrees.
And
That
then
does
here
not
you
happen.
can add humidity to that every now and then.
Yeah.
Soul
And
crushing.
then Briana, it's opposite for you. You're like, what humidity? I've lived down
I
near
know,
Houston.
yeah. I lived really near the coast, so it was like you would wake up and your hair would be like 2 feet above your head.
You wouldn't be able to have this hairstyle.
No, not at all.
People out there can't see. Briana has beautiful straight hair with nice bangs that I could only
you.
imagine with.
That's the third compliment I've gotten today. Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, it was really humid down there. And then I came, it's funny, I came to Austin. I was like, it's such a dry heat. And people were like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. But for me, this is a dry heat, guys.
We were in a drought around that time, though, I think. You said 2006?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I do remember how dry it was. I noticed, and I loved it because I went out to Arizona for a while, and that's where I learned the difference between humid and dry heat.
Yes.
I just was stuck on how hot it was and how people were living.
Oh, I'm the same way. I've lived here practically my whole life, and every summer, if it's not the allergies and the sweating, it's something else. I'm like, why do I still live here? But we love our city.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we love the library we work for.
That's
Definitely.
true.
All right. Well, we're going to continue our conversation with Briana and Jana as soon as we come back from these short messages from Blair, Michael, and Ann about all the happenings from all the different libraries in town. We'll see you on the flip side.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I'm a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. The next meeting of the Falk Central Library's Chinese Book Club is Thursday, May 4th at 7 o'clock p.m. Whether a fluent Chinese speaker or someone learning the language, the book club offers an opportunity to speak conversational Chinese. The Chinese Book Club meets at 7 o'clock the first and third Thursdays at the Falk Central Library. In celebration of Star Wars Day, the Windsor Park Branch Library will host Revenge of the Fifth, Friday evening, May 5th from 6 o'clock to 8:30. Our Star Wars extravaganza will include a costume show, trivia, games, prizes, a photo booth, button and bookmark upcycling crafts, and snacks. Revenge of the Fifth begins at 6 o'clock p.m., Friday, May 5th, at the Windsor Park Branch Library.
Hey there, Austin. Teen Program Specialist Michael Harley from the Downtown Falk Central Library here with a rundown of the tween and teen events happening across the Austin Public Library system this week. Everything is awesome this week with more LEGO Labs than you can shake a brick at. LEGO Labs kick off at the North Village branch on Friday, May 5th at 4 p.m., followed by the Ruiz branch on Monday, May 8th at 5:30 p.m., with 3 options on Tuesday, May 9th at the Twin Oaks branch at 3:30 p.m., the Windsor Park branch at 4 p.m., and the Little Walnut Creek branch at 4:30 p.m. And more LEGO action at the Carver branch on Wednesday, May 10th at 3 p.m. LEGO Labs will continue to pop up at even more branches throughout the month. On Friday, May 5th at 4 p.m., the Southeast branch continues their Shaping Spaces Art Workshop series for grades 4th through 9th, exploring the overlap of innovation and nature with STEAM-based programming. This week's project focuses on robot creatures. If May the 4th be with you didn't satisfy your Star Wars cravings, on Friday, May 5th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the Windsor Park branch hosts their Star Wars Revenge of the Fifth program, where Jedi and Sith from all over the galaxy can play games, make crafts, show off their trivia smarts, and parade their finest costumes from a galaxy far, far away. And if you're more of a Trekkie, on Saturday, May 6th at 2 p.m., the University Hills branch continues their weekly Saturday movie matinee series with Star Trek Beyond, chronicling the latest adventures of the Enterprise crew as they boldly go where no one has gone before. Star Trek Beyond is rated PG-13. If you missed any of that and need a refresh, more details for these and additional library programs can be found at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Minner, Youth Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to highlight a few Austin Public Library events happening for children this week. Austin Public Library is excited to be offering our Music and Movement program for children ages 3 to 5 with their caregivers. Not only is it lots of fun for kids to stretch, sing, dance, and explore music with rhythm instruments, but music helps with early literacy by slowing down words and breaking them into syllables. This singing dancing program is sure to get everyone moving. Music and Movement is being presented this week, Friday, May 5th at the Millwood Branch at 11 a.m. and Wednesday, May 10th at the Manshack Branch at 11:30 a.m. This program is recommended for children aged 3 to 5 with their caregivers. Details about additional library programs for children are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
Austin Book Arts Center is a new nonprofit teaching book arts to promote literacy. Our classes include bookbinding, letterpress printing, calligraphy, book repair, and decorative papermaking. More info at atxbookarts.org.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Volumes on KOOP.org, KVRX HD3 Austin. And we're having a conversation with Briana and Jana from the Pleasant Hill branch. And now we're going to move into talking about this program you guys have created, which we're all really excited about. It's called Measure Your Treasure. And again, it's at the Pleasant Hill Library. It'll be happening Saturday, May 6th, 2017. There will be 2 sessions, a morning session at 10 a.m. and an afternoon session at 12:45 p.m. So let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, we're really excited about it because we're going to have 2 professional antique appraisers there, Lark Mason and Lark Mason III, his son.
And if they sound familiar, that's because...
they have appraised on the Antiques Roadshow for several years now. And I don't know, you might recognize them if you were to look them up. They're very handsome gentlemen. And we're really excited about it because we kind of just asked them if they could come up and appraise for the public. And they're going to be here appraising all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how did you guys reach out to them? How did you find them?
Well, we were thinking of program ideas. And in New York, I did a successful program that was sort of similar to this, where we had people bring in stuff. I mean, everyone's got stuff in their house that they're always wondering, is that worth anything? So I said, we should do something like that here. And we found out that Mr. Mason lived in New Braunfels, and I just emailed him and asked him if he could come do it. And he is donating his time, graciously donating his time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So, wow, he was like, yeah, the library wants to do this, I'll do it.
Give back to the community.
I'm sure there's lots of people in lots of communities here in Austin that could use a sudden windfall of change.
Yes, we are very grateful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we're excited to see what kind of stuff comes in.
So you just never know. You just have to ask sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Are either one of you collectors?
I grew up in a house that my great-grandfather built, so we always had stuff around. You'd be playing and you'd find, a silver penny. Why is this penny silver? And it turns out it was a very old penny. Just weird things. Louis Sherry candy tins I collect.
Fun. I love tins.
Yes, yeah. I do like
really
those.
Pretty. I've seen it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, and I just realized they're 100 years old now. I mean, about 1920.
Wow.
It'll be 100 years
That's
old
crazy.
pretty soon. Yeah. So.
I've never really collected anything. My family is big collectors. My aunts really love antiques. They have a whole bunch of antique furniture. I'm really excited. My mom is actually getting to come up this weekend, so she's going to be there. I have no idea what she's bringing.
A U-Haul of items?
Yeah, I know, right? I have no idea what she's bringing, but she's kind of like wink, wink, mentioned a couple things to me, so we'll see.
Ooh, one item per person.
Oh, is that the
yes,
rule?
that's right.
It is the rule. One item
Sorry
per
if you've
person.
already
Well,
gotten it.
while we're on that, let's go ahead and talk about some of these guidelines. So 1 item per person, that's good to know. And again, I mentioned there are going to be 2 sessions. And so I imagine you need to call ahead and register for a slot with these 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, the morning slot is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then the afternoon is 12:45 to 3. So if you sign up for the morning or the afternoon, you'll be in somewhere in that session. You know, there's not, they said they're going to be doing them pretty quickly.
Yeah, and another thing is that at the beginning of each session, they're going to be giving a quick presentation to people and maybe bring like some different items and artifacts. Yeah, some show and tell for people. So
this is basically adult show and tell. Yeah, it's going to
Totally
be
is.
awesome.
And then they're going to be privately appraising for people. So
And we'll mention it again before we go off air, but just for anybody who's sitting here waiting for that phone number to register, you would call 512-974-3940. And again, that's just to reserve an appraisal time slot, and it is one item per customer.
And we're going to have goodies, water, sparkly water,
The bubbly water.
fruit, and cookies. And then you'll get to see other people's stuff, which is interesting, too.
Oh,
Right.
I think
know.
that's, I mean, yeah, there's a little voyeuristic thing to it. There's anybody who loves history can enjoy it.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
It's
really
gonna be
excited
some interesting
about that.
things. Our customers have been sort of telling us what they're bringing. It's going to be interesting.
Well, they've been telling you. They haven't been telling me.
Oh, no, I know some stuff that's coming through.
Like what?
I talked to a gentleman. He has some sort of he said it looks like it's made out of tusk or ivory or something. And he said it seems like it might be Asian art of some sort. And I was like, this is his specialty.
Right. I was going to
So,
say, isn't that
yeah.
senior or what? I'm sorry.
Actually,
Mark
both of
Mason?
them.
Yeah, both of them specialize in Asian art. So that's.
But they'll,
And this is
appraise
grandfather and grandson team, right? Or is it father-son? Father-son
Father-son,
team.
yes.
Right. Sorry for any. Whoops. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I can't be the only one to where I had toys growing up. So my brothers and I were all 5 years apart. So I mean, I had one brother who was born in the 60s, and then I was born in the late 70s. And I was able to, get a lot of hand-me-down toys and stuff. But I had no idea about monetary value with these things.
Yeah.
And so
you have to keep them in the box, and who
Yeah,
does
yeah.
that?
That's not fun.
And
it's no
I remember at some point in junior high is when I started hanging out with kids that collected things like comic books and maybe toys and stuff. And somebody had a collector's book, and I was just going through it for fun. And I came across this Batmobile toy that I know for certain I had that I destroyed in one afternoon, jumping it off of homemade ramps over and over and over and putting firecrackers in it. And it's just like, oh, if only I had known.
But you had would you trade having fun with it?
Yes. I had a lot of other toys I could explode. Yeah, I kicked myself. I had almost all the G.I. Joe toys.
Wow.
So touching on that, this is open for almost anything. If you're curious, if you have something that's worth anything, this would be a great time
Yeah.
to.
And if they can't tell you, maybe they know someone that can tell you. They
Right.
probably have connections.
Him being semi-local now, I'm
Yeah.
sure he's.
Yeah.
You never really fully retire.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, especially if that's a passion that's driven
Right.
your
Exactly.
whole life.
Yep. And it
Yeah.
seems that way.
I'm
for
still
them.
kind of just wondering, like, my brother used to collect Pokemon cards.
Oh,
Do you think those are worth anything nowadays?
Absolutely.
No way.
Well,
I'm
they're
sure
all
they've got to
back.
be.
That whole thing is back.
Well, okay, so let me tell you a quick story. When I was younger, my brother was much younger. Do you remember when Burger King came out with those like gold Pokemon cards?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then our house got broken into, and whoever broke into our house took all my mom's jewelry and then forgot it in my room. And then just took all of my brother's gold Pokemon cards from Burger King. And I don't know what they thought they were going to do with those.
Wow, there's so many directions to go with what that thought process was.
But then they just left. Like, they didn't take any of my mom's jewelry or, the TV or anything.
That's
They just
very
took the gold
specific.
Pokemon. My brother was so upset. And to this day, he still talks about it.
Has he ever looked up what that value would have been?
If he has, I don't know.
too
Probably
painful.
hurts too much.
Yeah, it's too painful.
Too painful to look.
Yeah, who knows if that guy, just had a crazy fandom for Pokemon or he had some foresight. I don't know.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I personally collect lots of cameras and stuff, but it's all, I don't think I haven't collected anything with the idea of, oh, this will be worth something later on.
Right.
It's emotional value. So,
Well, and-
but I would still be interested to know the history of a lot of them.
Right. And they always say collect what you love. That way, if it's worth nothing, you still have the
You
thing
didn't waste
that
your
you love.
time. Right.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
rule
yeah.
of thumb.
And largely, it's a lot of cheaper cameras. So I know I don't have anything worth a lot. It's like, the first brownies or first throwaway
yeah.
cameras that were made, mass production. And so they're not really worth much, but they're all kind of ending up in the landfill. And
Right.
So yeah, bring stuff
cool.
like that if you want.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's the saying we're going with. You never know.
You never know. It'll be fun just to see anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sev, do you collect anything?
I actually do. I collect. I've been collecting postcards for many years, and also photographs. And so I had a really interesting experience a few years ago that I bought a postcard which is called Real Photo. There are photographs that are printed on postcard stock. And so that's a whole category that that collectors are aware of and they're interested in, because a lot of times they're just one of a kind and they're one-offs. There was one card that I bought that had it looked like an outdoor theater set, and I thought maybe it was some kind of festival or something. It was clearly something from like the early 20th century. And I brought it home and I studied it. I got it under a loupe, which is like a magnifying glass. And I immediately saw that it was actually a silent film production that was shot outdoors, because there was no
need to worry about.
Well, there was no lighting technology, so they would shoot a lot of interior scenes on outdoor sets. But you can see the camera and the camera people, and there's some crew people on the outside. And it was just really fascinating to be able to kind of dive into it a little bit and study it, and actually reveal this entirely different.
So you personally, is this something you would ever let go of if you heard a certain monetary value on these items?
I definitely want to do some more research and find out about it, because I'm also very interested in film and film history. So, yeah. But as a regular viewer of Antiques Roadshow, I've actually learned quite a lot, and it's very interesting because it is very informative. And Lark, who will be one of the presenters, I'm going to turn this over this way. He's extremely knowledgeable, as you said earlier, about Chinese art. And so sometimes he'll say, well, this is from this particular dynasty, and he'll be able, to either buy some, aspects or some stylistic things, be able to identify within, 50 or 100 years when something was generated. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff like that.
Oh.
So I suppose I wonder if you guys will see a lot of Chinese artifacts coming through for people who are already aware of, Lark and.
We're hoping so. Also, I was wanting to ask you, do you think that you'll be one of those people that, like, if somebody were to tell you that it was worth a whole bunch of money, that you would just take it in a very reserved manner? Like, do you think you would just, oh, yes, that was better than I was expecting, yes.
It depends. If they said it was, $750,000, I think I would respond to that.
Yeah.
Do you think you would jump up and down?
Yeah. If there's one thing we can ask, can you show some enthusiasm if you're getting some money?
That is my pet peeve on that show. Yes.
Could you act a little excited?
Exactly.
Jana just wants some excitement.
I do.
That's why we're all watching. We want to see you get super happy.
Exactly. Or super sad when you find out. Maybe it's not worth
Another thing that's interesting, too, in terms of just collecting in general, is that things really, they change, their values change over time.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
And a lot of people would think, well, this is just, everything is just going to gain in value. But actually, there's sort of trends, and things will say, this is kind of fussy, and that a few years ago, people really liked this type of pottery or this type of really ornate furniture, but there's less interest now, and so that's why somebody that has the knowledge of that, of the market and of the kind of the trends, they can really provide a lot of information, because it does fluctuate a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually thought of that earlier today about one of my other personal interests are field notes, pocket notes. Field Notes is a brand, and the Austin Public Library actually gives away little pocket notes. And that really came from back in, the early, even latest 20s, 30s, 40s farmers' almanacs. They would get these little pocket notes from seed companies that would have itinerary of when they should plant their seeds in what area and all this. I mean, these things saved their lives. And it was just like a piece of American relic that a particular designer loved and collected a bunch of them. Right? They're worth nothing. He would be able to go in and buy huge piles of these things for like $2. And now he's kind of resurrected that with the brand Field Notes. And now you see this collection frenzy happening with all these old school notebooks that nobody ever cared about before.
Yeah.
And so now you're seeing another effort in keeping things from going into landfills. Just one more preservation of the everyday man's notes. And, that's the part that I find interesting is here's a guy who you could find his old notebook with his handwriting in it, which is dying, like who writes down much anymore. And it's his daily life of what it took for him to get, his farm running and to keep life sustained. And
Well, if you think about things that are in museums, those things were saved by pack rats, collectors,
Yeah.
When we have this stuff, somebody's got to keep stuff.
yeah, it's part of history. And you
Exactly.
should never denounce how important your personal history could be to
Right.
the
That's
overall
true.
Exactly.
So
annuals of
we had a guy come in, maybe like a year or so ago, and he had this book of stamps. He was like, "What's this worth?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know, but that's something that the library is really good for because
She'd be
they
like, well, I'll
have."
give you $1.
Yeah. Oh, the library has a whole bunch of like stamps books, and you could look up your stamps and
Very
see
true.
what they're worth, and or you could just come and see.
Yeah, or let somebody else tell you.
Right, let
Yeah.
somebody else tell you.
Like is in on a Saturday, May 6th.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
So that's great. Pleasant Hill, you guys are located at William Cannon Drive. That's is that I can't remember. Is that before the Y? Is out that way?
It's out.
Congress and William.
It's closer to 35.
So it's Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't visited you guys in a very long time.
It's 211 East
East
William
William
Cannon.
Okay. And again, that's Saturday, May 6th, 2017. You would need to call 512-974-3940 to try to reserve an appraisal slot. Again, limit your items to one item per person. And you have 2 sessions. There's a morning session at 10 a.m. and an afternoon session at 12:45. That's Pleasant Hill Branch at 211 East William Cannon Drive, 512-974-3940.
Support comes from the College Destination Center at ACC, providing one-on-one help with admissions and enrollment, financial aid, career exploration, and degree planning, just in time for fall registration. More at austincc.edu/startnow.
All right, we took a short break just for fun. So again, Measure Your Treasure happening this Saturday, May 6th, 10 a.m., Pleasant Hill Branch. Briana, Jana, thank you guys so much. It's been a ton of fun
Thank
to
you
talk
for
to you.
having
Yeah,
us.
it's been really great to be here.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm really
you.
excited. I hope I can get down there. I've got to decide what one item I want to bring
Right.
out of all my mini collections.
It's
But
a tough choice.
I know it could spark a...
I hope it's worth $1 billion.
Yeah. I promise I won't retire. I'll be too bored to do it. All right.
Good.
We are going to go ahead and wrap up the show tonight, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Again, thanks to my guests, Briana and Jana from the Pleasant Hill Branch. And hi to the Pleasant Hill Branch. We'll come see you guys soon.
Yes.
Sorry it's been so long. You've been listening to Co-op 91.7 FM, koop.org. This is Volumes, and we will see you again. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Details at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Want to give a special thanks to our audio engineer, DJ Harris, and our volunteer production assistant, Sev Corson.
And thanks to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song: Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and APL's very own Mike Wheat on percussion.
Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on koop.org Community Radio.